Hello everyone and welcome along to another night in TGP1. We are here with rounds, I believe, 5 and 6 for the season. We're just following J. Luke on a flying lap now. There's not long left in this qualifying session. It's a bit rushed, I'm sorry about that, but we're here and I'm in com box. I'm Owen Quemby and this is Dom. Hello.
Hello Owen. 1 minute left of the session. We've got, look at the gaps at the top, 2:10 separating the top 8. In fact, 3:10 separating the top 9, so it's all really close. All these drivers now are going to get their final laps in. J. Luke's the first across the line and he goes 200ths only off Aiden, so really close at the top, and I think Aiden will be the next through, I think.
Yeah, I think he will be. He's just coming through 9 and 10 now, just being let through by his teammate there, Jack Hickey, as he goes onto the back straight, the first of the 2 DRS zones on this circuit. He's got a decent amount of Ers left. Ers has been quite a problem during this qualifying session. Ers deployed towards the end of the lap, and actually he's not looking great. He's going through the last couple of corners. That's through 12, in towards 13 now.
Matt Tibos goes pole position.
Sorry, yeah. 1:8.9 from Matt Tibos as Aiden comes around the final corner. He runs out of Ers. Is he going to finally break the 1:8? No.
Not quite pole position for Aiden Griffin's. Matt Tibos for now a 10th on pole position, but we've got drivers left to come through. Khalifa will be next, I think, of the big runners. Phil Bardwell's also on a lap. Paul McGee's had enough. Jack Hickman just 3/10 off pole, but even that is only good enough for 8th position, and it's a purple middle sector for Khalifa. He's here for the first race this time this season. Can he get himself ahead of Matt Tibos, ahead of the Bennett driver, and snatch pole from him? Matt Tibos with a glorious chance to take the championship lead tonight. Corey, championship leader, is not here, and Khalifa diving into the pits, it seems. Sorry, no, he goes to the inside line and only goes 4th.
And Phil's bottled it at the last corner, so that's that.
He has, unless Kyle can do something about it. Kyle is 3/10 back in the middle sector on his own lap, I think. Sorry, only the first sector. So I don't think Kyle will be, in fact, no, this is the first sector, so a bit of a timing glitch there.
I think that's it. I think he's done.
Kyle,
done. It's just rounded round, I think.
Okay, well, that looks like it might be it then. Unless any runners towards the back can improve. And the Hoffner is a 10th stop on his own lap.
Through 14. In the Alpha Tower, he's running out of Ers. What's he going to do? Is he going to improve on a 1:09.3? He does a 1:09.2 and he goes ahead of Jack Hickey. Anyone else on the lap? The Hoffner's on the lap. Hoffner's on the lap even. As he goes 1:09.8 is the time he's got at the moment. He's got a fair bit to catch up with the guys in front. Is he going to make any inroads? Not enough inroads. He's on a 1:09.6 and remains P10, and that is everyone, I believe, in this session. No,
yeah, just Speed Newgarden left. Speed Newgarden crosses the line. Where does he go? He stays. 14th, doesn't improve. And look at that. It is Matt Tibos on pole position, but look at the gaps. Aiden Griffin's just a 10th back. J. Luke a couple of hundredths further back. Khalifa another few hundredths back, and then just 2,000 behind him is Phil Bardwell. Just 3/10 separate the top 9 on the grid. This is going to be a tasty race. The gaps are so tight, and it's looking pretty good. But Matt Tibos once again on pole position. That is his 31st of his career in TGP1.
It is indeed, and it could be a crucial pole position because this circuit is a very difficult circuit to overtake on. There's only really one overtaking opportunity, and that's down in towards turn 1. Sweeping out of 13 in the back 14, and that is that. That's your only opportunity, really.
Yeah, we must add, it is a wet race, so if it wasn't tasty enough already, rain is in the air and we're expecting a full wet race. So it's really set up nicely the next 30 minutes. But Matt Tibos then will be on the front row with Aiden Griffins alongside him. Aiden Griffins, that's his best qualifier of the season so far. Has been a little further down in the first couple of weeks, but that's more the pace we're used to seeing from him. Just 800ths shy of Matt Tibos with J. Luke and Khalifa on the second row. And I've got to say, we've got to keep an eye on Machine Fishy. Starting P12. Of course, we expect him to be a championship contender, and this is not the result he was looking for, with his main rival, Corey, not being here tonight. But he starts 12th, and of course, it will be a wet race, so anything can be expected.
It can indeed. So we're getting ready to go for 18 laps in the wet, as you've just previously mentioned, Dom. It's going to be a wet race. 18 laps around this 4.259 kilometre circuit here in Holland, making its return to the F1 calendar in real life probably next year now. It won't be happening this year thanks to the COVID situation, but will hopefully be on the calendar next season. And yeah, 35 years it's been off the calendar, and it's the first time ever it's going to be in TGP1, Dom.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race. The Netherlands, as you said, a really tricky circuit. Not many opportunities to overtake. I think the pit straight is going to be where we're going to see most of the action. But expect a tight field. It's only a 1:10 lap, as we saw on qualifying. fine margins separating these drivers. 3/10 covering the top 9. I think any of those top 9 will feel they have a chance of winning, and of course even Machine Fishy, who starts down in 12th, also looking good. We saw in Bahrain last week, he started further down the grid, I think at the very back of the grid in fact, and still managed to get into the top 5 places. So keep an eye on that Alfa Romeo, but it is going to be a very tricky race with these wet conditions, and I can't wait for this to get started.
Yes, we can't indeed. Everyone's just doing their final prep and we're waiting for the lights to come on here at Zandvoort. 2 lights, 3, 4, 5 lights as they are about to go out, and they go out here at Zandvoort. It looks like a decent start from the front row guys. Maz got the best start of everyone, and J-Luke's got a really solid start from 3rd into 2nd place. They all go funneling through turn 1 now. Looks pretty clean and tidy to me, Dom.
Yeah, very clean. It was a sluggish start from one of the AlphaTauris at the back. Aiden Griffiths has dropped a place already to J-Luke. That's not what he needed. Now he's got Khalifa on the inside of him in the Alfa Romeo. But a really good start from Matt Tibbles. He needed to stay first on the first lap, and he has done that so far. But J-Luke right behind him as we see Khalifa in the background challenging Aiden, has taken P3 from him. In the background there's a Mercedes.
I think it's one on Mercedes.
Yeah, Paul McGee. He's lost it in these tricky conditions, and you can see Phil Barger, I think, has also lost some positions. So something's happened to the Red Bull driver too.
Yeah, and Aiden's had a very poor start from 2nd on the grid. He's already lost positions to Khalifa and J-Luke, and now he's got Kyle all over the back of him. Meanwhile, the top 3 are pretty much nose to tail, heading onto the back straight for the first time.
Yeah, so Phil Barger will drop down to 10th position. He was side by side of Aiden, and I think must have just gone a bit wide, maybe spun round. It's the 2 Speed Nightons and Speed Newgarden in the AlphaTauris that are at the back of the grid, so that's not the start they needed. I'm not sure if they got tangled up there. It looked like a terrible start from one of them. I think maybe they just missed the lights, but yeah, not what they needed. But Matt Tibbles, crucially, keeps the lead. But Aiden down to 4th. He'll be gutted with that one.
Yes, he will be, and especially as the front 3 are already starting to pull a decent gap on him. Already 1.5 seconds clear down the road at the end of lap 1. We've got Khalifa looking all over the back of J-Luke, but doesn't get the move done. Is Kyle looking for a move on Aiden? No, not quite. There's a yellow flag somewhere. I'm not sure what that is for, Dom.
Jack Craig has dived into the pit lane, as has Speed 9. So those two choosing to pit. Looks like they've got damage then from the opening lap. Must have some front wing damage because we're not expecting to see pit stops in this race with the intermediate tyres. We're expecting the rain to last until lap 18. But of course it could dry up. There's always that opportunity. There's always that chance. But yeah, in fact both AlphaTauris are in the pit lane.
Yeah, so they haven't stacked at AlphaTauri because they both got damage. So that's basically a disastrous day done for AlphaTauri. Any hope of getting a decent points finish for either driver's gone, unless there is a safety car later in this race. Could be a possibility towards the end. Kyle is all over the back of Aiden, 4th place. And we've got Khalid, the top 3 are pretty much nose to tail still. Once again, J-Luke just clipping the curb there. Don't want to do that too many times. The curbs are quite vicious on this circuit, Dom.
Yeah, we've got to keep an eye on too. Machine Fishy, a great start for him. Up 4 places to 8th place. He's made those crucial moves. And yeah, J-Luke and Khalifa sticking with Matt Tibbles. You've got to be so careful in these conditions. A bit on the curb and you can spin around and easily lose all your hard work. But look at these two keeping with Matt Tibbles and Aiden 2.2 seconds back now in 4th, with Kyle right on the back of him.
Yeah, indeed, and there's definitely a train forming. There's a long train actually forming behind Aiden now, as everyone is just stuck in a DRS chain. We've got Khalifa maybe having a sniff at J-Luke up the front. Not quite. He gave him something to worry about, but he just couldn't quite pull the move off. Meanwhile, I think Aiden's just about held off, and they're literally all going to be stuck in a slipstream train, that lot, from about 4th all the way down to 10th, I would say.
Yeah, I think you're right. We've got Machine Fishy looking to get clear of Jack Hickman, but there's just not enough places to pass around here. You can see on the mini-map just how tight and twitchy this course can be, and you can see, look how close Machine Fishy is to Jack Hickman, practically pushing him around the corners. He's going to go for a move, maybe around the outside if he's smart, but no, he's not. It's just not quite wide enough this track, unfortunately. Machine Fishy for now has to sit behind Jack Hickman, but you can see already in the top 8 there's a chance he can get a podium in this race.
Meanwhile, Matt Tibbles is starting to pull the gap on J-Luke and Khalifa. That looks like he's walking off into the distance, pulled out a 1.1 second lead. Meanwhile, J-Luke is in 2nd, and Khalifa is still all over the back of him 3rd. And this front 3 have really outgone from this race. But Tibbles is now starting to pull a gap on the 2nd and 3rd place drivers.
Yeah, interesting start then to this race. Matt Tibbles finally getting into a groove. You can see Aiden struggling to keep with the front 3. Will we see Machine Fishy this time get a move into turn 1? We saw Khalifa almost trying it on J-Luke into the first corner, but I think realised he didn't quite have enough room as Matt Tibbles once again sets another fastest lap. Khalifa is still within a second of J-Luke. Of course, no DRS in these conditions, and you can see Machine Fishy also in the Alfa Romeo, just too far back from Jack Hickney, who himself now is right on the back of Hoffner and Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. It's all, like I said, that middle groove of 4th down to about 10th is literally just towing each other along. And well, Iceman's actually starting to lose the back of that group. He's now a second and a half behind. And Phil will have to make a move soonish if he wants to keep with that group of 4th down to 8th now, as Iceman will definitely drop off the back. 1.6 seconds off, and Phil will need to make the move fairly soonish, as I'll see him making a weird line through that corner there, Dom, actually.
Yeah, a bit unusual as we see Paul now into the pit lane. Not the best race of Paul. Paul, of course, the most capped driver in TGB1. He's been here 371 times before. This is his 372nd race. Great to see him with us after so long. I think his first race was back on F1 2010. Jack Hickey is struggling around that corner, and this is a real chance now for Machine Fishy maybe to get a move into the round the outside. He's going to go for it, I think. Is there going to be enough room, though?
He's just going to run out of space, though. Just the track's not quite wide enough. Yes, Jack Hickey stuck his elbows out a bit, but again, you've got to be all the way alongside to realistically have a chance at a move there.
Yeah, and look at that. J. Luke has pulled a second back on Matt Tibbos. The gap down to 4/10 now, so he's caught right back up, and you can see Khalifa right with it. These three, separated by less than a second. So is Matt Tibbos struggling? Is he saving a bit of hers, maybe?
Yeah, we never know. Could be definitely doing that. Matt Tibbos in the lead. The front three are definitely gone from that midfield pack now, though, as Aiden is now 4.2 behind the front three. He's definitely just trying to hold on. Like you said previously, no stops planned for today. Had the AWS insights come up, they reckon it's either going to be a no stop or a one stop, but I reckon most of these drivers will do a no stop here today, Don.
Yeah, I think you're right. No point pitting. The tyres can last, and you don't have to pit, of course, with the regulations, so there's no need to really, unless you really feel the tyres are going off and you're going to find more time from pitting. But such a short race. Mike Noon invited me to a party, not quite sure why. Chopper Gam here of the front three, also close, a second between them in a league of their own. 4.3 seconds now clear of Aiden. And it is J. Luke who is keeping that honest. Of course, he did start to drop back. I think he was a second and a half back, but he's caught right up again.
Yes, he has indeed. But this front three is definitely the battle to watch at the moment. These three pretty much running nose to tail. Unfortunately, because of the conditions, there'll be no DRS for any of them to pay dividends from. That's probably half the reason why Aiden stayed in front of that train as well, because I think Kyle's definitely got pace on him. Maybe Hoffner and Jack Hickey and Machine Fishy have all got better pace as well.
Yeah, Aiden has struggled this season, not quite carried over the form he had on the last game. He was challenging for wins last time out. Unfortunately, this time it's more about trying and sneak into a podium if possible. He's sort of dropped back in the race as we expected he would. The wet conditions not necessarily favouring him here. Down to 4th, not quite anywhere near the pace of these front three, but Kyle, as you said, struggling to get past because there's just not the opportunities here. Speed 9 is now back behind Paul. He's rejoined this session. But the top three, I think any of these three will still feel they have a chance to win, but where are they going to make the moves? Where are J. Luke and Khalifa going to get past? Because they're going to have to do it on track. We're not going to see pit stops.
No, we're not indeed. Definitely not going to see pit stops in this race. We're on lap number 6 of 18, so we've got about 12 more laps of this race to go. Only about a third of the way through it. Front three still pretty much all together. Aiden in 4th, then we've got Kyle in 5th, Hoffner in 6th, Jack Hickey in 7th, then Machine Fishy 8th. Iceman dropping off the back in 9th. Phil Bardwell rounded out top 10, and he's dropped off the back of Iceman. So it's definitely two separate battles in this top 10 now. We've got the battle 1 to 3, and then it's 4 down to 8 in this race. And as your intervals disappeared as well,
it has. And Khalifa, I think... Oh, sorry, it's Jack Craig. I do apologise. I saw a car ghosting, and I thought maybe Khalifa had disconnected, but he hasn't. As J. Luke sets the new fastest lap of the race. A very good time from him, 1:20.2. Some 10 seconds off the pace of qualifying. The intervals have disappeared, but they are coming back to us now. I think we had this issue in China last week, I believe. But we are getting the timing back. Good to see that. And yeah, it was Jack Craig, sorry, that was ghosting us. Look at this. J. Luke getting really close to Matt Tibbos. The gap just 3/10. J. Luke has the pace. He's just set the fastest lap. But unfortunately for him, as you say, there's just not enough place to overtake around here. Huge train, I think. Further back as well. You can see on the mini-map, Kyle, Hoffner, Jack Hickey, Machine Fishy, all still just can't get through on Aiden.
Yeah, they can't. It's spread out a little bit, to be fair, because it seems like Aiden and Kyle have sort of got a little bit of a gap now back to Hoffner in 6th position, so it is starting to spread out that little group. But we've got Machine Fishy going for a move round the outside. Jack Hickey can't get past. He's definitely got more pace than him, but like you said, there's just nowhere really to pass on this circuit other than the main straight, and even then you've got to have a massive run on the guy to have any hope of getting past, and hope he hasn't got anyone else's slipstream.
Yeah, you can see these drivers do love chopper cam. Big fan of this camera. I think Machine Fishy will probably try and get close enough, maybe try and get a move down to turn 1. That is his best place to make the move done, but he's just not quite close enough. This looks like the closest he's been so far. He might have a real chance here. If he can use his errors wisely, he might be able to just get it done.
I think he's too far back, Dom, to be honest, looking at Machine Fishy.
Yeah,
but
I think you're right.
This train is just going to be endlessly going on the rest of this race now, to be honest. Iceman, it has dropped off, like we said, dropped off the back of this train now. It was a 6-car train, it's now down to a 4-car train, as Iceman and Phil have lost the back of this pack now.
Yeah, we've got Jack Hickey. Seems to be really, really good at getting traction out of that final corner. Fishy gets really close, but then Jack Hickey, I don't know if he's just saving his errors wisely and using it all on that run down to turn 1, but he pulls closer to Lee Hoffner and pulls away from Machine Fishy, so Jack Hickey smartly using his errors, but even for him, unfortunately, not able to get close enough to Lee Hoffner.
Yeah, meanwhile, further up the field, Matt Tirbos again has pulled out a bit of a gap at the front, over the front two of J. Luke and Khalifa. So maybe J. Luke, what keeps happening is maybe J. Luke keeps making a mistake, dropping that time and then getting it back maybe a couple of laps later. Or is maybe, like you said, Matt Tirbos just using it, saving his errors for about 3-4 laps and then just going full beans for a lap and then saving it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see this time. We've got, of course, Fishy there. You can see 30% of his errors is left. Jack Hickey has 98%, so he's definitely using it all.
Khalifa's got a run on J. Luke. Sorry about that. He's got a run on J. Luke. He's going to have him, and he's passed into turn 1, before turn 1, actually. Great run from Khalifa, and he's up into P2. J. Luke back down to P3.
Very well spotted. So I don't know if Khalifa just got a better exit into the final corner and onto the straight, but he's got the move done, and now he can start chasing down Matt Tibbos. 2 seconds the gap behind Matt Tibbos now. So he's got to start hunting that down again. We're at half race distance almost. But J. Luke losing that second place, and of course that hurts his own championship hopes. With Corey not here tonight, this is a real chance for J. Luke and Kyle and the Williams to both get their challenges cemented. But Kyle currently down in 5th, stuck behind Aiden. The gap now 8 seconds between J. Luke and Aiden. I think this top 3 are looking safe on the podium.
Yeah, this top 3 have definitely pulled out a gap. Meanwhile, Hoffner, Jack Hickey and Fishy are pretty much running nose to tail. Round through 7, 8 and in towards 9 now, this group. Meanwhile, Khalifa's definitely gapping J. Luke and starting to claw some of the gap on Khalifa up the front.
Machine Fishy gets really, really close to Jack Hickey in the middle sector, but for whatever reason just can't quite carry that speed onto the home straight where he needs it most. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3.
It looks like one of the AlphaTauris. So it's either Speed Knight or Newgarden, but they've got it going again. And, yeah, there's Newgarden.
Virtual safety car?
Virtual safety car because he's retired on the main straight, I believe.
Okay, yes,
then, he has retired on the main straight, so that is why it's a virtual safety car.
This is where the drivers get a real chance to be tactical. The VSC will end at some point. And if you can be smart and make sure you're ending the VSC in the green and carrying speed, you could jump the driver in front. As you see, Newgarden DNF'd on the start, finish straight. He'll be scoring no points here today. I get the feeling neither will his teammate. Speed 9 points down to the top 10. Phil will be gutted to be 10th. It looked really well for him. But yeah, as you say, no points for Newgarden here today. The VSC will end very shortly once that car is cleared. Will Machine Fishy be able to get the jump on Jack Hickey at the restart? Yeah,
and it will be Kyle's all over the back of Aiden. Will Aiden maybe lose out to Kyle on this restart? Who knows?
Jack Hickey is
he's coming now. He's coming now. Virtual safety car has ended. Kyle is all over the back of Aiden, and they've actually pulled a little bit of a gap back to the McLaren of Hoffner in 6th position. So it looks like this battle's now split into a 2-car battle and a 3-car battle.
Yeah, it's good news for Luca and Dan in 12th and 13th. Waze has made the rookie mistake of speeding under the VSC. Look at this pack here behind Aiden. Kyle's getting very racy. He wants to get through if he can. Look how close he is to that racing points. Aiden's struggling in these wet conditions. He's 9 seconds back from the front 3. Those front 3 now starting to spread out a little bit. In fact, I think J-Luke may have maybe just lost the back end a little bit. He's lost a bit more time to Khalifa. So maybe struggling a bit more. Maybe just now settling for P3. But look how close J-Luke is. Sorry, Kyle is to the back of that racing point.
Yeah, but he has been for a while now, that just stuck on the back, and we've got yellow flags, green flags, and something's not quite right there since that retirement, as we're constantly getting yellow flags, green flag. Yeah, I think it's all green now, as we see Kyle maybe looking at the back of Aiden. No, he's not quite close enough. Hoffner isn't quite close enough. And Khalifa has definitely brought that gap down to Matt Tibbos. It's now just over a second.
Fishy squirming behind Jack Hickey. I think that's the closest he's got looking into turn 1. But again, just not finding the room. I think Jack Hickey's getting a bit of a tow from Lee Hoffner in front. And of course, with that extra ERS management, as Jack Hickey runs a bit wide there, Here's a chance for Machine Fishy. I'm not quite sure where he's going to find the space to get through here. He's going to try the inside, maybe for the next corner. He's almost lost it. He has lost it.
Oh, what are you doing, Sunshine? He's binned it. That's a safety car. And he's very clever there. I was looking at his telemetry and he was trying to use... I was looking at his telemetry. He was trying to use overtake and make a move up there. And he just lost the back end trying to go from one way to another way. And in that section, it's not straight at all. And there's nowhere really to overtake, so like we mentioned, the only real place you can overtake on this circuit is into turn 1.
Well, that safety car is going to bunch up the order. There's Machine Fishy done. He'll be scoring no points here in Netherlands today. This does allow Aiden to catch up that 10-second gap that he had for the front three. Will we see any of the front three dive into the pit lane? I suspect we won't, unless they feel they have
no, Tibos no, Khalifa no, J-Luke no.
Indeed, so none of them coming to the pits. Kyle will now be helped by this as well. He can now catch up with the front three. If he can get Aiden on the restart, there's a chance he can then do something about Matt, Khalifa and J-Luke, which he wouldn't have had otherwise.
I will say, if I was someone near the back of the field, I would take a punt on new tyres, considering I'm running near the back anyway. What have you got to lose?
Yeah, I think you're right. And in fact, Dan has a 13-second gap to Luca. Will he feel the need to come into the pit lane? And he does.
Yes, he has.
To go for new tyres. In fact, Luca himself might pit as well. He's got a 16-second gap to Paul, so I think he should really be coming in for new tyres. Unless he just wants to gain the one place on Dan, but I think Lucas should also pit, which he does.
Yes, Lucas in.
So I think these two are doing the right decision. Good call there, Owen. Will we see Paul do the same in the Mercedes?
Yeah.
As long as you don't get lapped, which I don't think they should. You can see the safety car has already caught the pack
Paul's
in the...
come in as well, yeah, Paul's in as well.
Yeah, Paul's in, must be 9.
He's going to come in as well. So like I said, all the guys at the back might as well take this risk. Pit for new tyres. Paul's had a really slow pit entry there, actually.
Yeah, taking
really
it very cautiously.
Slow pit entry. Knighton's all over the back of him on the entry.
Yeah, so then, the safety car will bunch up the order and we will have about 5 laps to go at the end. You can see Paul should catch up with the safety car, should stay out for another lap, which will allow those who have pitted at the back to come in. And Paul may have been serving a penalty. He's been jumped by Speed Knighton in the pit lane by quite a margin, unless he had some sort of damage. But the safety car then has caught up the pack at the front, and we will have about 5 laps at the end. But I mean, yeah, what an odd crash for Machine Fishy. I think maybe a rookie mistake, would you say?
Yeah, it was never really on the move. Yes, he had the pace, but in that section of the track, it is pretty much one line. From turn 3 all the way up to about turn 10, it's pretty much a one-line circuit. So you've got really nowhere to pass along that section. So, and I've seen on the, like I said, I've seen on the telemetry, he was on overtake, trying to make a move that wasn't really on. J-Luke has pitted, by the way.
Okay, so J-Luke, I'm not quite sure why he would pit. Did he have a drive-through?
He's pitted for softs.
Okay, so suddenly this race has a new twist. Is it going to be dry enough for dry tyres when the safety car peels in, I suspect, at the end of this lap? And I'm not sure that's going to be a wise decision because the track looks so wet still.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone for that move. That looks very damp still, the circuit here.
Speed 9's pitted for softs too. Paul and Luca pitted for the medium, so they both felt maybe the time was right to come in, but if the safety car comes in now, the track's just too wet.
Lucas changed his mind. He's come straight back in again. I think he's going to switch back to these.
Right call at the moment. I think J-Luke has just thrown away.
Actually, no, he's going on to the softs and a new front wing.
Okay, so Luca now at the back of the pack will be going on to the dry tyres. I mean, he's going to have to be quick to catch up with this trio at the front. Sorry, this leading bunch at the front. The safety car should come in this time round, which will give us 5 laps at the end.
Yeah,
and the safety car
is in this lap.
Confirmation that it's coming in as damage Matt Tibbos.
What the hell's happened
Khalifa's
there?
hit the back of Matt Tibbos, and both of them have damage. Lee Hoffner's picked up a penalty, and has that given damage to Khalifa? It has. Khalifa's going to have to come into the pit lane.
The only one who hasn't got damage of that group is Aiden.
Aiden Griffins, from 11 seconds back from the front 3, now has a real chance of taking this race victory. Wow.
Well, I think Matt Tibbos, looking on my screen, doesn't have damage, but Khalifa definitely does.
Okay, so Khalifa then may be caught out by Matt Tibbos. His speed has hit the back of them. He's picked up front wing damage, and will he dive into the pit lane? Will he dive into the pit lane for dry tyres? Wow.
I think he has to. He has no choice.
He does. He dives into the pits. Well then, we go racing. And suddenly this race is thrown into the air. We've got Jamie at the back who's decided to pit for dry tyres. We've got several drivers now going onto the dry rubber. We've got now suddenly Khalifa towards the back end of the grid as well. Will he go onto the dry tyres? And Aidan Griffin's now into second position.
Yeah. And they'll probably be quite happy, that group now, as they're now battling over second place rather than fourth place before the safety car. But J-Luke pitting for the soft tyres, and we have Khalifa hitting the back of Tibos under safety car, and Tibos has binned it!
Tibos has binned it, and Aidan now takes the lead of the race. What's going on here at the Netherlands? It looked so safe, the order wasn't changing, and now suddenly the safety car's come out and the whole order has changed ever since Machine Fishy's incident. And Aidan Griffins is the new race leader. Has he lost it? I thought he had. Maybe a bit twitchy at the back. But wow, suddenly Aidan Griffins leads this.
I don't know what happened there with Tibos, because I was watching Aidan further back, just behind him, and suddenly coming through turn 6, he was wide on the exit and in the barrier.
Keep an eye on those soft, dry runners. Are they gaining time? J-Luke doesn't appear to be closing on Matt Tibbs, but he's not losing too much either. If it does dry out suddenly, Aidan's left the session. Aidan's disconnected. Does anyone want to win this race?
Kyle's in the lead.
So Kyle takes over at the front. And now Lee Hoffner has a chance to take the move, to take the race lead. Oh, he's lost Azzy. He's caught it. What's going on? I can't believe this. Will Lee Hoffner make a move into turn 1? He's close. Is he close enough? He's not. And no one seems to want to win this race. Kyle, who was 5th, only 3 laps ago, leads with 4 laps to go. I can't call this.
Oh, I'm baffed. It's the best way of putting it. I am absolutely baffed. It's all gone to absolute Pete Tong for the front 4.
J-Luke pitted for soft. We weren't sure it was the right call. He's in 8th position, so he's getting points out of it at the moment. Keep an eye on Waze, 4.5 seconds back at the moment. Doesn't appear to be losing or gaining much time.
You know what? Look
it's
at
getting dry.
J-Luke is gaining a fair bit of time.
Speed Iceman is just 3/10 back from Jack Hickey. We've got Dan the Man, who started at the back of the grid, now just 4/10 off Phil, who himself is right on the back of Speed Iceman. Look at this pack behind. It's all so close, and it is getting drier. And if these drivers have to pit for soft rubber, J-Luke can still win this. Or will these drivers choose to just stay out and go to the end?
Looking at the circuit now, that is almost bone dry.
Wow. This race is one of those craziest races I think I have ever seen.
Yeah,
this could go anyway.
Coming up from the Interrunners still, but that track is greasy rather than full wet now, I would say.
Aidan's going to be so gutted to have disconnected from the race lead. It was looking so good for him. Can we see Kyle hold off Lee Hoffner into turn 1 once again?
DRS enabled. DRS enabled.
So it's now dry enough, we feel, for the dry tyres, and J-Luke is right on the back of Aidan. Of course, Aidan is not there, I don't think. Speed Iceman has passed Phil Bargewell. I think Phil may have just narrowly got ahead because Iceman was in front a lap ago. But it is dry enough for dry tyres. What can J-Luke do in 7th position? Look at these intermediate tyres, they're struggling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, there he is. He's back again. He's reconnecting to the server now, Griffins, but he's now down in 8th place, and that is a disastrous run for him. Meanwhile, we've got Paul slow on the main straight.
Phil Bargewell looking for a move on Speed Iceman. 8.9 seconds is the gap for J-Luke to claw in 2.5 laps. 8.5 seconds, that gap is coming down very, very quickly. That is the gap to the leader. Lee Hoffner 6/10 back, as you can see. Phil all over the back of Speed Iceman. I think Dan the Man just sitting behind. Will any of these drivers feel the need to pit for dry tyres? There's only 2 laps to go. Next time they come through.
Dan's on, all the 3 in front are on, all Jack Hickey, Speed Iceman, Phil Bargewell, all on worn inters. Dan's on pretty fresh inters because he pitted on that safety car. And look, J-Luke, as we speak of the devil, just set a purple middle sector. And that was very much closing in on the back of this train with 2 laps to go, Dom.
This is quite remarkable. Lee Hoffner currently P2 right behind Carl. We've got Jack Hickey holding on to 3rd for now. Speed Iceman struggling to keep Phil back. Can Phil? Okay, so Dan's come in for dry tyres. Then we're just 2 laps to go. J-Luke has the fastest lap in P6. You can see just how close he is now to the leading 5. He has made a potential masterstroke. Or has he? How do you say that? He would have been first anyway. So he's got to get past Kyle and Lee Hoffner, who are a bit further up the road. Look at this. It's so easy for him.
He's going to go around the outside of Phil Barber around 3. They're going to be side by side down this X session. It's not gone disaster for someone today, but they're still side by side. I think Phil gave him the room. Yes, he has. Phil's given him the room, and that's J-Luke up into P5, and now he's going to try and sweep round the outside of Speed Iceman into P4. But this is great to watch. Here he is coming down towards the inside of turn 9.
He's taken both of them. What a move from J-Luke. There's going to be 1 lap to go. He has to find 5 seconds in that 1 lap. Not only find 5 seconds, but pass the leading 2. Kyle, you'd think for now, is surely going to hold off, but look at that. J-Luke takes a second in just 2 corners. The gap now down to 4.3 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely closing. I'm keeping an eye on the front 2. Kyle, as it stands, will be leading onto this last lap ahead of Hoffner, but the gap is ever closing.
It's coming down so quickly.
Seconds.
It's less than 3 seconds now. He's taken 2 seconds in a sector. He's going to catch them. He is definitely going to catch them. Meanwhile, Hoffner very close to the back of Kyle even going into turn 1. I don't know who's trying to keep up in this race. It's madness. Look at the gap. J-Luke is surely going to catch them. There's 1 lap to go. This is it, the final lap. He pitted for soft tyres. We thought he was crazy, but the safety car has held him massively. And look at the speed he's got.
That's a slide. He's going to pass him on the grass. Are you mad, son?
Le Hoffner closed the door, he shut it firm, and J-Luke had to back out of it. That will help his teammate Kyle. Will we see the 2 Williams drivers fight it? Will he go around the outside? He thinks about it. The gap isn't quite there.
He's going to do what he did the last lap to Jack Hickey. He's going to slide it up the inside. There we go. Slides up the inside in turn 10. And that's him passing. Now he's right on the back of Kyle. And I think Kyle's just going to let him go, to be honest. Surely.
Round the outside, Kyle takes the lead of the race. Fantastic decision it was for him to dive into the softs. Fantastic, so this is crazy. It's hard to keep up, but J-Luke has done it. A masterstroke on course for a fantastic race victory. He's really made it work. And wow, Williams 1-2. We've got Dan the Man up into P4 on the soft tyres as well. Phil Bargel down to 5th position. Speed Iceman in 6th, but J-Luke is going to win a superb Netherlands Grand Prix, Owen.
Yes. J-Luke wins the Dutch Grand Prix ahead of Kyle in 2nd on the inters. Hoffner gets a podium in 3rd. Dan the Man, who actually pitted for Siggy 2 laps to go. Dan pitted for those soft tyres, has taken 4th place. Phil's going to be in 6th. Khalifa recovers to 6th. Then we have Speed Iceman 7th. Matt Tibos, what could have been for him? He's now in P8. Jack Hickey in P9, who gets promoted down to P10 thanks to Aiden picking up P9. Ways in P11. Tiapelli 12. Paul McGee's going to come home in 13. Knighton's going to come home 14. And wow, what an end to that race.
Absolute, utter madness. Wow. Khalifa got through Iceman at the final corner on the soft tyres to take P6 off of him. Wow. I'm not quite sure where to start with that one. Dan the Man, driver of the day, from the back of the grid to take P4. He also dived in for the soft tyres, which was definitely the right call. I thought the lap was too short. I didn't think they'd gain the time, but wow, it worked. It definitely worked. And it's a Williams 1-2 here in the Netherlands.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. I need a lie down after that one. And we've still got another race tonight.
That was absolute madness. Jamie pulling an absolute masterstroke. The race that no one seemed to want to win. In the end, Jamie took it from them all. He's got his teammate Carl alongside him, and a fantastic podium from Kong Hoffner on P3, the reigning TGP2 champion. So it's fantastic to see him grab his first podium in the sport, and fastest lap did go to Dan the Man in the end.
Yeah, fastest lap indeed. So just have a full rundown of those results. We've got J-Luke, who takes the victory for Williams. He's, after pulling that master stroke under the safety car and pitting for soft tyres. Kyle comes home 2nd, making it a Williams 1-2. Then we have Hoffner in 3rd. Dan the Man in 4th. Bill Bardrell in 5th place. Then Khalifa in 6th. Speed Iceman 7th. Matt Tibos, the man who'd led pretty much all of the race until that safety car, comes home in P8. Aiden comes home in P9. Then we got Jack Hickey in 10th. Waze in 11th. Mr. Chiapelli in 12th. Paul McGee in 13th. And Speed Knighton, the last of the point scorers, in 14th.
Well, I think I need a drink of water. Maybe a beer, actually.
Oh, God.
That was just madness.
My mind is scrambled on. That's the best way of putting it.
Jamie then. A superb race victory that was. No one seemed to want to win that. It looked like Aiden was going to win it for a lap. He disconnected. Matt Tibbles looked in control for the first half of the race, but unfortunately for him, he lost it when the field was bunched up and dropped right to the back. Jamie diving into the pit lane. We weren't sure it was the right decision to do, but it just worked a treat for him. And yeah, wow, what can you say? What a drive from Jamie to take the race victory, which I believe is his first victory in the league. So wow, well done to him. What a first race to win.
Oh, I need a cigarette after that one.
I don't smoke either, but I think that might be in order.
I just feel like I should be just laying back, relaxing. in that post-euphoria. Just having a smoke right now. Bloody hell. Bloody hell.
Well, Spanish Grand Prix is coming up next, not Japan short. So, don't worry about that. But yeah, I mean, some great drives in there. I think Aiden put in a master stroke. Unfortunately for him, disconnected from the front. Otherwise, I think he probably could have won that race. In fact, maybe he wouldn't have held off Jamie. Jamie was just too quick at the end. He was pulling like 6 seconds on them. So that was... I wasn't sure it was going to dry enough, but it dried out so quickly, and that safety car really held him, I think. A final lap pass to take the win. A Williams 1-2, which puts them in the lead of the constructors now. And Kong, a master stroke to take P3. Dan the Man will be very happy with 4th from the back of the grid. Phil Barger was 5th in the end, despite his early lap worries. And Iceman, great to see him in 7th position. Khalifa 6th on his first race of the season. I think it was unlucky for Waze, who just missed out on the points. Luca, Paul, Knighton, Jack Craig, Fishy and Reverjeep all left empty-handed as well.
Well, I don't know what's going on because there's only 10 people suddenly in the lobby, so maybe some technical difficulties going on here at the moment.
Yeah, a new lobby I believe is being set up, so very shortly we'll be back underway, but we'll be back shortly in a few minutes.
Since we're on a break, let's have a quick look at the chat, see if anything, how many.
I don't think they can hear you at the moment, so just wait. I'm just inviting people. It doesn't let you hear voices, I think, when you invite invites. 2 seconds. Rebel Kim was cheering on Kong Hoffner on that one. Fellow Danish driver putting in a real performance to take P3. Machine Fishy was gutted with his incident in that first race. Could have been much more for him had he stayed in. Had he not made that mistake, who knows where he could have finished. That race was so chaotic at the end. Thrown up because of the late safety car and the challenging conditions. But in the end, it was Jamie who took the race win. I'll definitely be watching that one back later on. That was absolute madness.
Yeah, that was definitely a scintillating race indeed, Dom. I think we're pretty much nearly ready to go here for the second race of the day here, the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So we didn't get a chance to run through these before the actual lobby started tonight, the stream started even tonight, and that is the championship standings actually going into these races. And first of all, Corey, championship leader, not here tonight. He was on 81 points. Kyle was second on 55. Matt Tibos third on 51. And then J. Luke, who's definitely took a big bite, especially out Matt Tibos, thanks to him winning the race in Zandvoort and Tibos finishing down in 8th. As the gap was 51 to 36, I think J. Luke might even have overtaken Tibos. Then we have Aiden 8th on 19, Jack Hickman 9th on 18, and Casper Hoffner was 10th on 17 points. But he was the one who, I think. Wait, which Hoffner's racing again tonight? Is it Casper?
Kong Hoffner, the reigning TGP2 champion.
Con's the one racing tonight, so he's the one who jumped ahead of his brother tonight in the standings and got himself, well, probably quite tastily, maybe into the top 5 with that result. Very strong result for him, Dom.
Yeah, it really was. I think, as you say, I'm not quite sure who's leading the championship now. I don't know if you said there, but
Well, I think Corey still has a decent gap over Kyle, so I think it'd still be Corey after this one. But
yeah,
it
so
could
Matt
change
Tibos.
if Kyle Tibos or J. Luke wins this one, which looking at that pace last race, especially J. Luke and Tibos, that looks quite likely, and suddenly they'll be right on the back of Corey in the championship standings.
Yeah, so Kyle has now gained 18 points in that last race, which now moves him a little closer to Corey, just 8 points back going into the Spanish Grand Prix. So it should be an eagle one to keep an eye on in the next race. But Corey for now does hold on to the championship lead despite not being here. But Jamie with a huge win there to put his own championship hopes right up there. Two seconds, I'm inviting people so people can't hear. Here we are then. It's the Spanish Grand Prix next. The second race of the night, the 6th round of the season. Points going into this one. Corey holds an 8-point lead now over Kyle, with Jamie now just 12 points further back thanks to his win in the Netherlands. So 20 points separating the top three. Matt Tibbos is 4th, 10 points back on 51. Phil Bardwell, 10 points back on 41. And Dan the Man out into 6th overall with 33 points. So 18-minute qualifying session here at Barcelona. Who will be on pole position in 18 minutes time?
That is a very good question indeed. Just looking at the constructors' standings, I didn't realise going into Zandvoort that we had a tie at the top of the championship, and of course a 1-2 for Williams is very good for their constructors showing. Meanwhile, for Mercedes, who are also the other team that are tied at the top of the championship, they're poor showing from them because Paul, I think, was down in 13th or something, and Corey's not there tonight. So big march for Williams in the constructors, Dom.
Yeah, Williams, as I said, right with Mercedes going into that last race, and a 1-2 is the perfect message to send out that they're here to take that top spot this season. Fantastic result for both of them. Don't think they quite expected it to be so well going into it. Matt Tibbos looked like for the first 10 laps he had that one in the bag, but as I said before, everything changed when Fishy brought out the safety car on lap 10. Well then, the drivers are leaving the garages, going out onto track. You can see there the Ferrari Speed Iceman joining Dan, who was already out there. Both Ferrari drivers choosing to go out now. We only, I think, 7 drivers left in the pit lane. Let's go out with someone on a lap. You can see Mr. Chiapelli.
I'm going to go with, I'm looking at Corey and I was thinking maybe we crank it up for this lap, just
Corey?
let him run and see what happens.
Well, if Corey was... Oh, Kyle, sorry, I thought you said Corey. I was going to say Corey's not here tonight, so that might be a little difficult.
So there we are, very solid. That's open the session from Kyle, 1 minute 15 forward. That's good mark to put down, wouldn't you say, Dom?
Yeah, good first lap. Looked quite nice to watch on boards. We've got Matt Tibbos on and out lap. J. Luke about to start. Here's his teammate. Let's keep an eye on him. We've got Paul as well. I think about to dive into the pit lane, is he? Or is he going to finish his lap? He does dive into the pits. So J. Luke now will look to try and beat that lap time of Kyle as Khalifa goes 3 tenths quicker, the 1:15.1. So a good lap from him in the Alfa Romeo. We'll be looking for a better result than he had last time out in Netherlands. In the end it was P6 for him, 8 points. 8 points is all Kyle needs this race to go level with Corey in the championship standings. But he'll need a 5th place and 10 points to take outright lead, with Corey having won 2 races already.
Yeah, just on board with J. Luke now. It's coming through turn 6 here into the difficult 7 and 8. Very easy to, like he's just done there. Very easy to have the back end come round on you through 7, and it makes it very difficult to rate, like what has happened there to J. Luke. So this is not going to be, he's definitely got time in the bag, wouldn't you say, Dom, after that?
Yeah, Fishy's spun on his lap, so that's him done now. He'll dive into the pit lane. Yeah, but J. Luke, as you said, a bit twitchy there in the end. He lost it round. This will not be a competitive lap time. He may, in fact, just choose to dive into the pits and go again. Or he'll set this lap time and at least set a benchmark down, so he's at least got a time on the leaderboard. He is going to complete his lap time. He will cross the line. Where will he go? I think he'll probably be around 3rd or 4th. He does go 3rd, 3 tenths clear of Lehofner, and about 7 tenths back from his teammate Kyle. So a very twitchy lap there, but he's got one on the board.
Yeah, he has got one on the board. Meanwhile, on board, Matt Tibos actually, who's invalidated this lap, so that's him done.
As has his teammate, Mr. Chiapelli.
Yeah. It's very easy to do, invalidate a lap around this circuit, especially through that 7 and 8 section. What I was originally going to say is it's very easy to pick yourself up and invalidate your lap through that section. As the car, the back end comes round on you through, slides wide towards that curve, and it sort of pinches up on you, like we see Aiden go through there now on 8. And it's very easy to catch yourself out and pick up an invalidated lap through there.
Speed Newgarden around the final corner to cross the line. Where can he go? It's going to be his first lap time of the session. He's kept it clean for now, and he goes P6. So a good time from him. Phil Bardwell will be the next of the runners to complete a lap, as long as he's not invalidated, which he is not. Can Phil Bardwell get himself right at the front and mixing with Khalifa and Kyle and Matt Tibbles, who we're yet to see a lap from. Matt Tibbles in the pit lane. So 6 minutes in the session. Yet to set a time. Phil Bardwell will come around the final corner now. Where can he put the Red Bull? We expect this to be right up there with Khalifa's time. He crosses the line and only goes 4th, 8/10 back.
A bit of a distance off, but after the first runs, I say, this session, not many have actually completed a lap so far. I think there was a lot of invalidated laps. A lot of drivers still trying to find where the limits are on this circuit here in Spain.
Yeah, Aidan Griffins will be next of the big hitters to start their lap. He's in the first sector now, looking to get himself right back at the front. He was so unfortunate as he set a purple first sector. So unfortunate to miss out on a potential race win in the Netherlands. Spent large parts of it, quite a bit back from the front 3. But thanks to the safety guard bunching him up and the misfortune for Matt Tibos, Aidan was gifted the race lead and unfortunately disconnected from the front. I think that's happened to all of us before. The worst feeling. Oof, almost losing it there.
Yeah, almost lost the back end go around camp, so that's not a corner you want to lose the back end. Still went purple through there, but I don't know if that's glittering considering how much of a slide he had on through Campster. That's definitely a brown trousers moment there for the Racing Point driver.
Indeed it was, and once again another one there, almost losing the back end. This cannot be another purple sector, surely. I think that is a bit of a glitch from the timing. I doubt this will be enough to beat Khalifa's 1:15.1. We could be wrong. But yeah, those twitchy mistakes would suggest it's not going to be as quick. He crosses the line and does go 7/10 back in P3.
15.8, but still it's a decent lap. Half decent lap. It's got him in good contention for the time being. But there's a few drivers out on laps. Got Jack Hickey, I think, just finished up a lap in the other Racing Point, coming around the final corner.
Paul goes third.
Paul has gone third, yep, you're right. As we see Jack Hickey coming across the line, where's he going to go?
Second.
He's going to go second, only a tenth beyond Khalifa.
Very good lap. Very good lap there from Jack Hickey into P2. Another one of the drivers who was in TGP2 last season. Promoted to the top tier. Straight up there on the pace. Just a 10th back from Khalifa, and he'll be very happy with that time.
Yes, he will indeed. Matt Tibos is just warming himself up to go for his first flyer of the session after invalidating that first lap. As we've seen in TGP2 last week, it is very critical, especially when it comes to the race, not to pick up a penalty, as it could cost you a win and a podium.
It could. You've got to be very smart during these qualifying sessions. Matt Tibos now starting his lap. Where can he go? Surely he has to be favourite to take another pole position, which would be his 4th of the season. Spain, this is the track you won at last week, Owen, for those that watched TGP2. Now, Owen, you've crossed the line in P4, I believe, but then snatched the win at the end.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's just, you've got to be so careful in the race. You just got to make sure you stay and keep your car inside those white lines, especially in race runs, because it can cost you, it can come back to bite you, especially as we've seen in the last race here and in TGP2 last week at Spain. A late safety car could really hamper your chances of a victory.
Yeah, Khalifa has gone even quicker, a 1:14.7, the new benchmark to beat, but Matt Tibbles is responding with a purple middle sector. Khalifa, it'll be him against Matt Tibbles, surely for pole position. These two appearing to be a league of their own come qualifying day. But where can Matt Tibbles stick that Renault?
That is a good question. He's just heading through 14 and 15 now. On through the last corner now. He's going to be using whatever's left of his ERS. Powering on. What's the time going to be? He's gone second with a 14.9, only 2/10 off the back of Khalifa.
Very good lap time, very close margins, 2/10, not quite the close margins we had in the Netherlands, where 3:10 separated the top 9, but it's still pretty close. There's Lee Hoffner, we can see Aiden's is, I don't know if he's on an outlap or in the pits.
He can't decide. He's on an outlap. He is on an outlap.
Okay. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, we're seeing a nice shot of the grass here. Oh, Nathan Griffins is indeed now on an outlap, as you said.
Yes, as we're watching Jay Luke coming round the final couple of corners now. He's had a good run. He won the last race after making that master stroke and putting on those soft tyres during the safety car. What's he going to do towards the end of this lap? He's coming around the final corner now. DRS is wide open. What's the time going to be? He puts himself up into 6th.
Yeah, Dunham went P2, just a 10th back. He split Khalifa and Matt Tibble, so he's showing why he can also challenge for pole position here. A very good lap time from him. Lee Hoffner has invalidated his lap time, so he'll be coming back into the pit lane. I think Mr. Chiapelli... Okay, he was starting a lap, but it's backed out of it already. Phil Bardwell, not the best first sector, 10th down on his previous best. But I think he lost it all in the first sector on the last lap, so he'll find time from there.
He will indeed come towards 7 and 8 now. Needs to make sure the back end doesn't go too slidey on him. Just about perfect through there. Heading towards Cancer corner now. The corner where we see Hayden have a massive slide earlier on in the session. What's he going to do in this middle sector? It is going to be another 10th down on his previous best, I think. So, although it went purple on the track map, he was a 10th down on what he's done previously. So, slow on the first two sectors. Can he gain any of the time back in this final sector, Dom?
Well, I think he did make a mistake at the chicane on his first run, so he should try and find a couple of tenths as long as he's kept it smooth, which he appears to have done. Can he improve on that 1:59? He stayed out, which I suspect he's going to find the time. Crosses the line, and no, he stays in 10th place with a 1:59. So he didn't find the time I thought he was.
Yeah, that lap time was a 1:16 dead for him, so he lost about 2 tenths.
Hayden is quicker in sector 1, but only just 200ths quicker. He'll need to find, I think that will be enough to put him ahead of Paul. And there you go, that's his qualifying lap done.
Paul's on an out lap. Everyone else is pretty much in the pit lane. I think Kyle's just about winding up for another go at his lap. This may be his last lap of the session for Kyle. So heading down the main straight, very long main straight here at the circuit de Barcelona de Catalunya. 4.6 kilometre circuit. 66 laps in the normal Grand Prix. We'll be doing 17 laps today, and it's going to be an interesting. Looking forward to the race a little bit while Kyle is on this lap. Tyre strategy is going to be very critical in this race, isn't it, Dom?
It is, yes. Then we saw last week in TGP2 that the tyre wear mixed strategies are to be expected. Will you go for the undercut? Will you come in for the overcut? Tyre wears went very quick last time, but you've got to keep enough tyre life in it for the end of the race. If you pit too early, you're going to be caught at the end or a sitting duck at least, especially if you pick up a time penalty. Speed Iceman round the last couple of corners here to complete his lap in the Ferrari. In fact, he dives into the pit lane, so no lap time set for Speed Iceman.
Yeah, still keeping on Kyle's looking like a decent lap so far from him, but it's not going to be groundbreaking. He's actually, just as I say, it's not going to be groundbreaking. He's popped in a really good middle sector. He's now 2.5 tenths up on the provisional pole time of Khalifa. So let's see what Kyle can do. He's currently sitting half a second back as he goes through 13 in this last sector, breaking down to second gear through 14 and 15, that tricky chicane, and now flinging himself out of the last corner towards the start-finish line. What's his lap time going to be? Is it going to be provisional pole? No, it isn't. No, he's actually gone 1,000 slower than his previous lap time.
Machine Fishy has made it, an Alfa Romeo 1-2 up front. Look at that, just half a tenth away from Khalifa's time, so he's gone right up there. Better qualifying already than the last two that we saw in China and in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think Paul's on a flyer. No, he isn't. Looking at, I think everyone's just building themselves up for their final runs now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Fishy will dive with the pit lane. He'll get one more run. Khalifa, I think, might also be returning to the pit lane. He's rushing back, so maybe he didn't improve on those set of tyres.
Kyle's actually kept in it.
Fishy's been
lap.
disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just saying, Kyle looks like he's kept in it for another lap. Maybe he's realised that he needs to rush back to the pits to get a second run in before the checkered flag falls.
Okay. Khalifa then does dive into the pit lane. So a lot of these drivers now will be coming in. Kyle, we suspect, will come in as well. Will he have enough time to get it back out there and set one more lap? He should do. All these drivers now coming into the pits, all leaving for their new hot lap. So who will be the first runner then to start their final lap? Is it going to be Matt Tibbs? It is not.
On the one that's currently on an out lap, it's Jack Hickey. think.
Okay, so Jack Hickey then. I think Mr. Chiapelli's also just started his lap. He'll be looking to mix it in the top 10, but Jack Hickey has a real chance here of getting himself on the front 2 rows. He needs to find just 2 tenths to get himself into P4. A whole 5 tenths to find if he's going to displace Khalifa from P1.
Yes, Jack Hickey. As that middle group, they're all on out laps. It's Jack Hickey, then Hoffner, and then J. Luke on flying laps. Is Aiden going to be able to improve? Phil and Aiden just leaving the pit lane. I think Dan's only just left the pit lane as well. Tibos literally only just left the pit lane. So, like we said, we're going to see everyone coming out for either their final runs now or who are on final runs, like that midfield 3 of Hickey, J. Luke and Hoffner.
Khalifa has claimed 3 pole positions in the league before. Can he make it number 4? Dan the Man, second, has had 78 pole positions before. Can he make it 79 and increase his margin he has over everyone else on the all-time poles list? Jack Hickey then in the second sector. Has he improved on his lap so far? He is a 10th up. Ignore the purple split. We think that is just a glitch. Everyone seems to be getting it in the middle sector, unless everyone is just getting quicker and quicker. There's a racing point ahead of Jack Hickey. Aiden just getting out of the way of Matt Tibos, who's about to start his lap. In fact, that is Mr. Chiapelli. Mr. Chiapelli will be first through of the Renaults. Is he going to get himself into the top 10? Currently P11. He crosses the line. Does he improve? He finds 3 tenths, but stays P11.
Meanwhile, we've got Jack Hickey coming across the line now. What's he going to do? He's going to stay where he is. We'll follow Hoffman now. He's coming out the final corner now. What's he going to do? He's going to dive into the pit lane. Oh, bloody hell. He's going to make a very last-ditch call to dive into the pit lane and end his session early. J. Luke coming around the final corner now. What's he going to do? Is he going to improve on P6? Put himself any further up on the grid? He does. He improves by 3 tenths and put himself in P4.
Wow, there you go. I think Waze will be the next now to set a lap time. The Red Bull of Phil getting right out of the way. Waze, as Corey has joined the session. Championship leader Corey's back. So, well, he's not going to have time for a qualifying lap, but he will be starting this race from the back of the grid as Waze invalidates his lap time. So who's going to be the next of the runners to come through?
Invalidated his further up the field as well. Sorry to interrupt you, Dom, but Dan was on a flyer and he ran wide. He cut the corner that was turn 11 and he's ended his lap early.
That's his qualifying. Yeah, that's him done.
Yeah, Tibos on a flyer coming through that same section. It keeps it tidy, doesn't invalidate his lap. Coming through towards the final couple of corners now. Through this twisty couple of corners. Got the final chicane now. Down to second gear. Flicks it in one way, then the other way. Coming round the final corner now. Is he going to improve on his lap? He's currently 2 tenths off pole. And he goes pole.
What a lap. What a lap from Matt Tibos. Aiden Griffins will be the next to cross the line. Can he improve on P9? He crosses the line and stays 9th. What about teammate Jack Hickey? He dives into the pit lane, so he will not be improving on his lap time.
He was one of the ones that did an earlier lap. Khalifa's on a flyer though. Is he going to take back pole off Tibos? Currently sitting, well, 15 thousandths off pole position, and he's currently 66 thousandths up on his previous best lap according to that split that I've just seen. So come around the last couple of corners once again. 13, 14, 15 and 16 is all he has left to complete this lap. He's got McLaren in front of him. Hopefully that won't hold him up too much. I think that's Waze. It might even give him a little bit of a tow coming across the line. What's his time going to be? It is a 14.5.
He improves, he finds the time, and for now that's pole position. Is that enough? Is Matt Tibos on another lap? I don't think he is. Speed Iceman goes into P9. Speed Newgarden crosses the line and goes up to 9th as well to displace Iceman.
That is it. They're the last runners.
Aiden Griffins is going to be next to go through. 3 tenths up on his previous best lap. Can he get into the top 10? Will he? I'm not sure he'll want to. He set the identical time to Speed Iceman. But can he go even quicker? He looks to be, in fact he backs off. He wants to start outside the top 10. He knows it's fresh rubber. So a wise decision there from Aiden.
Yeah, I think everyone has done a flying lap now. For some reason Corey's been let onto the circuit with the time being completely out. So
maybe just to get a setup on.
Is it going to somehow let him do a lap?
Well, it shouldn't do, but this is Codemasters, not the views of TGPSeries, so you never quite know. But yeah, Corey, this will just be about getting into the groove, giving a little bit of a warm-up before the race, a chance to choose his setup, to at least start with a bit of confidence going into the race. Corey, we suspect, will cross the line now and it should end the session, but that is going to be your front 3. Khalifa on pole position, Matt Tibos second, and down the man will be third.
Yeah.
I think he's letting Corey do a lap, so he won't have time to do one. In fact, Corey chooses to retire.
Yeah. So that is, everyone's just waiting for Hoffner, who's sitting in the pit lane, to retire from the session, and then we'll be ready to go. But yeah, we're going to have a decent race here, especially now we've got Corey in the field and Fishy. Both had really... Corey, championship leader, joins for this race, and we've got Fishy, who was P2 before he got disqualified. He's got pace in this session as well, so it's going to be very interesting to see them two tear through the field, along with Khalifa, Tibos and Dan, potentially that battle up the front.
Khalifa's lost his front wing somewhere, so I suspect he's crashed.
He hit the back of Waze after he crossed the line, so it's an AI crash.
Okay, so not Khalifa's wrongdoing. He will start on pole position, a 4th career pole for him, and as you say, Corey and Fishy, the 2 title contenders from last season, the 2 pre-season favourites for this season, starting 16th and 17th. Keep an eye on them. Kyle will start P4, only 8 points back from Corey in the championship. A real chance to take the lead here if he can get a result. But Khalifa, fantastic qualifying for him, beat Matt Tibos and will start on the front row alongside him.
So, full rundown of the grid. We've got Khalifa on pole in his Alfa Romeo with a 1:14.588. A 10th behind Matt Tibos will start in 2nd. Dan the Man is going to start 3rd in his Ferrari. Then it's a Williams 4-5. Kyle in 4th. J. Luke in 5th. Jack Hickey will be in 6th place. Then we have Paul McGee in 7th. Hoffner in 8th. Speed Newgarden in 9th. Speed Iceman in 10th. Then we have Aidan and Phil Bardwell 11th and 12th. Mr. Chiapelli in 13th. Waze in 14th. Jack Craig in 15th. And then the back 2 drivers on the grid, like previously mentioned, are Corey and Fishy. So getting ready to go for 17 laps round this circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. 4.6 kilometres. And how do you think this one's going to turn out, Dom?
Well, we tried calling the Zandvoort race, and we were wrong to, because that was just the most unpredictable, wild race you could ever imagine. So I think this one, we shouldn't expect too much drama. It is a dry race. It is Spain. Although the clouds do look a bit ominous, so maybe there's a bit of rain in the air. But I think Matt Tibos is probably my pre-race bet, I would say. Khalifa, though, will be a threat. But Corey and Fishy, what tyres will they choose to start this race on? Will they go for the medium tyres? Or will they start on the quicker, soft rubber and pit earlier on?
That is the question indeed. Just making the final race preparations for the drivers. Its strategy probably is soft to medium. Maybe some will go soft to hard, and then we'll see how we get on from there. I don't think anyone qualified on mediums, Tom, did they?
I don't think so. So I think it'll just be those who are 11th downwards that will choose to start on the medium tyres. Aidan Griffins we saw back off to make sure he didn't go into the top 10. He wanted the fresh rubber. Will he go for the softs or the mediums?
So we've got 5 red lights on, ready to go here in Spain, and the lights out, and away we go. And we've got a decent start from the front 2 rows. Dan, again's got a decent start in his Ferrari. He's going to actually probably jump Matt Tibos maybe, unless Tibos dives back inside under the brakes. 3 wide from made by the racing point there of Jack Hickey. But I think everyone else has just pretty much gone through there cleanly, Don.
Yeah, it was a good start for Dan the Man to take Matt Tibos straight away for P2. You can see the racing point running a bit wide in the background, dropping a few places at the start. Not the start he was after. Aidan Griffin's not off to a beautiful pick, but J. Luke has 4th. He is he's ahead of Kyle, his teammate Paul, into 6th, and has passed Kyle as well. So Paul getting very racy on the opening lap.
Side by side they will be down towards turn 7, the Mercedes and the Williams.
Oh, Matt Tibos is off.
They made contact.
Matt Tibos went off in front of them, and then Kyle and Paul made contact, and Paul, he may have helped out his teammate Corey, because Corey of course fighting Kyle in the championship, but it was very close to instant there. It's Matt Tibos now at the back of the field.
I didn't even see what happened to Tibos there. I didn't even completely miss that, but Machine Fishy and Corey have already made up about 4 positions each. Corey's already up to 10th actually, 9th. 9th position already, Corey, from the back of the grid.
Yeah, brilliant start there from Corey. You can see getting very racy. Paul, I think, has damage. He's really struggling on that Mercedes. Will he choose to pit this time round? He doesn't. Corey chooses to pit. What's going on, Paul? What are you doing?
Into the pit lane, and that's a virtual safety car.
Okay, so a bit strange there from Paul. I think Paul was trying to pit, maybe lost the back end of the car. Phil Bardwell now up to P6 already. Virtual safety car is deployed.
Corey,
yeah.
Both Mercedes have having a stack in the box here, so that's not good for them. Meanwhile, Machine Fishy from the back of the grid has made his way up into P8. So, quick rundown of order so far. We've got Khalifa leading, Dan in second, Jay Luke in third, Kyle in fourth, and Jack Hickey rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, so the drivers that have pitted now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing for them. They've pitted under the VSC, so aren't losing as much time as they would under a regular race. So, hard tie as it is for Iceman, Mr. Chiapelli, Corey and Paul. Of course, Corey had to queue behind his teammate, so that's the last thing he needed joining this race late. And Corey will be at the back of the field.
Yeah, go green again. We've got Phil Bartrell very close to the back of Jack Hickey. Actually, not as close as I thought they were. But is there any real battles going on the circuit at the moment? I'd probably say Waze on the back of Nat Tibos. I think Tibos has just got past him.
Yeah, Matt Tibos into P10. Phil Bartrell keeping close to Hickey. I think the timing has gone glitchy again because it says Phil is right on the back of Hickey, but he's a little bit further back than that. Aidan Griffin's into P7. Machine Fishy up to 8th from the back of the grid. Great to see him starting on the medium tyres. So keep an eye on that Alfa Romeo runner.
Yeah, it is. It's sorted itself out again now. They're all crossing the start-finish line. Matt Tibos is only about 3 tenths behind Jack Craig. Is he going to make a move in towards turn 1? I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. No, he isn't, so he's going to have to wait until a little bit further on in the lap. But that is the closest battle on the circuit currently. Jack Craig, Matt Tibos battling over 9 and 10. Tibos is having to recover from... I still don't even know what happened. What actually happened there, Dom? Did you see?
So it looked like Paul was carrying damage, wanted to pit, but I think either it was a late call to pit or maybe he lost the back ends, but came into the pit lane. That caught out the McLaren of Lehofner. Lehofner, I think, then therefore spun round, which caused the VSC. So a bit of confusion between Paul and Lehofner. And Corey, unfortunately for him, was right behind the two of them, so just got collected with it and had to dive into the pits to change that front wing.
Yeah, and Corey back in again for his second stop of the race. So it's not a good run for the championship leader here. After not qualifying, he's now all the way back in the field and having to make his second pit stop of the day. Meanwhile, the timings have disappeared, but we can confirm that Khalifa is still leading the race from Dan the Man in second and Jay Luke in third.
Matt Tibos has jumped Jack Craig, he dive bombed him, it was a fantastic move into P9. Yellow flag in sector 1, will that be another VSC or safety car? For now there isn't, and the drivers stay out. Here on lap 4 of 17 as Phil Bartrell looks to get close to Jack Hickman. You can see in front, back marker, I think that might be, is that Corey? He's a lap down already. Yeah,
meanwhile, Machine Fishy looking to the outside of Aidan, isn't quite able to get the move done, and he still remains in P8. I'm guessing Phil didn't get past Jack Hickey. No, in the end, Corey is a lap down in this race.
Yeah, so Fishy right on the tail of Aidan on the medium tyres as well. The slower rubber looking to get through. He's in P8. Expect him to stay out till around lap 10 to 13, and then pit for the softs at the end and be much quicker than those on the medium tyres. But Khalifa already 1.6 clear of Dan the Man, a further 2 seconds clear of J. Luke, and Kyle will want to get past his teammate soon in P4.
Yes, he will indeed. But meanwhile, I think the closest battles on the circuit is Phil and Jack Hickey battling for the last spot in the top 5, and Machine Fishy and Aidan battling for 7. So basically, both the tracing points are stuck in defensive positions at the moment, Dom.
Yeah, you're right. Jack Hickey and Aidan looking to defend at the moment rather than attack. Both these drivers with a bit of a gap to the car in front of them, so aren't quite getting the advantage of DRS at the moment. It's not out, of course, because of the VSC, I think. Or is it out? I think it is out, isn't it?
No,
sorry.
It's not been enabled yet. It's not been enabled yet.
So, oh, it's Fishy puts a wheel on the gravel, and that's not going to help his chances of getting Aidan.
No, it might be actually. Sorry, correct myself. Yes, it is enabled, because I can see
okay,
it
Kyle, the two Williamses going into turn 1, getting very close. Kyle will want to get through. He needs just 8 points to go level with Corey in the championship, and with Corey down in 16th. As things stand, Kyle will be the new championship leader, but will J. Luke make it easy for him?
Well, I don't. He'll probably be a bit more lenient than what he would be most other drivers, surely, considering it's his teammate. But I don't see J. Luke giving up this position that easily.
Yeah, you'd think so. J. Luke will want to, of course, think of his own title hopes. He will believe he's in it too. He won the last race. He's the only driver to have won for Williams this season. He himself is third in the championship, 20 points off Corey. If he can get into first place, he will be the new championship leader after today.
Yes, he will indeed. As we can see, Kyle all over the back. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a train forming. Phil Barber has actually lost the back of Jack Hickey now, and there's now a bit of a train forming behind him.
You're right, Phil Bardwell in P6, 1.6 back from Hickey. Has he picked up some damage somewhere, potentially? Aidan Griffin's in 7th, right on his tail, and then Machine Fishy just 4 tenths back and soon to have the advantage of DRS.
Pitted. He's the first to stop. J-Luke comes in as well. Dan stays out, so he takes the lead of this race as we start lap number 6. So all the soft tyre guys will be coming in the next couple of laps, Tom.
Corey has set the fastest lap of the race. He might try and take a point away from his rivals. His Machine Fishy zooms past Aidan Griffiths to take P5. Down the slipstream on the straight. He had all the advantage of DRS, everything, and he takes P5 from Aidan.
I'm glad you said that, because that was what I was going to interrupt you for. But yeah, you've said it. So that's, yeah, Machine Fishy up into P5, Aidan down into P6 on those medium tyres now, Machine Fishy. And I think those medium tyres are starting to come into their own compared to the soft ones.
Yeah, it's looking very good, isn't it, for Fishy? He's about, what, 5, 6, 7 seconds down on Dan the Man. Of course, Khalifa has now pitted. He is in clean air, crucially for him. He will go to the end on those medium tyres. He is about 6 seconds back from the car in front, which is Jack Craig. Jack Craig will stay out a bit longer. He himself is on the medium tyres. But Machine Fishy now will want to clear Phil soon. Yes,
he will indeed. As he goes round, final couple, they're into the last sector now, and Machine Fishy is all over the back of Phil, but I feel like Phil will peel into the pit lane this lap. I wonder if any of the other guys in front will peel in as well. I reckon Dan and Kyle will probably peel in. Well, there's Dan. Is Kyle going to peel in? Yeah. Jack Hickey, is he peeled in? Yeah. And Phil stays out another lap actually, but he's going to get past by Machine Fishy down this main straight.
Yeah, so we saw in China that Phil chose to stay out longer. He likes to stay out longer and get the mediums a bit further at the end of the race, and you can see Phil is just a sitting duck for Machine Fishy, who takes the position and takes the new race lead.
He does indeed. Be interested to see where Dan the Man comes out compared to Khalifa. Well, Khalifa's passed already, and Dan just coming out the pit lane, so that one is quite easily Khalifa undercut, working beautifully for him.
And Kyle will come out behind his teammate J-Luke. He is in P8, which of course will be, I think, a net P4 once the top 4 make their stops. Jack Hickey is racing Ways.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. Jack Hickey on Ways very tight coming through 1 and 2. But Jack Hickey just about staying in front of Ways. He knows he needs to do that since Ways is one of the slower drivers compared to him.
Indeed. Ways yet to make his stop. Looking to score his first points of the season. Will we see Phil Bargewell pit this time round? Surely now is the time to pit, to go on those medium tyres. Those softs can't have much life left in them as Kyle continues to sit behind his teammate. P4 will be enough if he finishes there to take the new championship lead. And the Williams drivers looking to extend their gap with the Mercedes drivers both once again out of the points position.
Yeah, meanwhile Phil Bargewell's coming to the pit lane. They've started on the mediums. No, he's on the softs. He's taking those softs a long way into this race then, Aidan. Meanwhile, Khalifa has just set the fastest lap of the race as he's got about a 5-second lead over Dan actually. He's got quite a comfortable lead. Meanwhile, the closest battle on circuit is the 2 Williams drivers, Dom.
It is. We've just seen Matt Tibbors get a bit lucky there. The McLaren in front of him chose to pit. We see Lee goes to the inside of Paul, and Paul, a very late, dangerous move from Paul McGee. That's not the Paul McGee we know. Very disappointing from him, and looked a bit Grosjean-esque. And Lee Hoffner for now has to sit behind the Mercedes driver.
He does indeed. So we've got Jack Craig picking up a 3-second time penalty as we watch on board with Kyle coming through towards 7 and 8. And we've seen a few penalties in this race, but I don't think we've seen quite the level as the front 3 in TGP2 yet. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I'm guessing that's Corey again.
It might be. Just keeping an eye on the battles at the moment. It looks like it is between the 2 Williams drivers, 6th and 7th. Will we see Fishy, Aidan and Jack? How long will they stay out for? Will Khalifa catch this pack? He's only a second now off Jack Craig. So it might catch them.
Aidan's peeled into the pit lane on lap number 9, so he's going to have very good fresh mediums towards the end of this race, Dom.
Yes, Machine Fishy, you've got to keep an eye on him. He chose to go for the alternate strategy. The Dan the Man sets the fastest lap. He himself is now up to P4 as Aidan chooses to pit the first of those tyres to pit. Look at this is very close now for Kyle and J-Luke. Zooms up to the fact into turn 1. Is he going to get close enough? Not quite. J-Luke for now defends, but Kyle is getting closer.
Yes, he is indeed, definitely closing in on his teammate. Is he going to have a look? He's going to have a look inside turn 4. Is he going to be able to get the move done? I think J-Luke made that quite easy for him actually in the end.
And it looked a bit easy. So not fighting too hard. He probably knows it's better not to. These two are fighting for the same goal. Both want the constructors, but then at the same time, both also want the driver's crown. So I might have hurt J-Luke a bit to let him through if he did choose to do that. But he will have more opportunities in this race and the rest of the season.
Yes, he will. I think he realised that Kyle just had the pace on him today, and he thought there's no point hampering the team game. Let Kyle go up the road and maybe pick up a podium for himself, or even catch back and damn the man.
Oh, J-Luke's lost it. He lost the back end and he's in the wall, and that's not what he needed. He's lost a place to a teammate, and now he's about to lose a points position, because surely now he must pit for a new front wing, and that's the last thing he needed.
Yeah, he looks like he needs a new front wing. Jack Hickey's got past. I think he's going to dive into the pit lane now. I'm guessing he just lost it over that curve at turn 11 then, Dom.
He did, and now Matt Tibbos is surely going to zoom past him as we come down the start-finish straight and into turn 1. Matt Tibbos will want to take that position from him on the medium tyres. All the drivers now on the mediums in the top 10. Paul the High is running hard runner. And look at that, Matt Tibbos takes the
Still going to be
position.
side by side, but with that front wing damage, I think J-Luke just can't hang on. I think he needs to put himself into the pit lane, Dom.
And disaster for Aiden again, who was disconnected from the session, having no luck tonight with his internet. And yeah, poor night.
And next on J-Luke being picked off list, Phil Bardrow is going to be picking him off surely quite soon. He's already closed in about 4 or 5 tenths on this lap alone, and he's just gaining and gaining more as more corners happen on this lap. J-Luke, I think, is really struggling with that front wing damage, Tom. And in fact, he's going to be done into the inside of turn 10. I think it gives Phil the space, knows he needs to dive himself into the pit lane, and that's that. And Phil Bardrow is up into P8, Dom.
Okay, so this is where things get interesting. Machine Fishy has chosen to pit at the end of the 10th lap, so he will go onto the soft tyres and will race to the end. Where will he rejoin? Jack Craig also pits from what was P3. He'll drop down the order, but will now go on the quicker tyres and now hunt down those ahead. Where will Machine Fishy rejoin? Looks like it is going to be maybe just with Phil and J-Luke. In fact, he's going to be ahead of both of them, and it will be very close to Matt Tibbos.
He's going to be just behind Jack Hickey, I'd say. Yes, he is. He's going to be just behind Jack Hickey, ahead of Matt. Just ahead of Matt on the road, but Matt got the warmer tyres. He needs to make a move fairly sharpish if he's going to get past Machine Fishy in this race. Otherwise, he's going to see Fishy bugger off into the distance.
Yeah, I think that's likely to happen. Machine Fishy on the soft tyres, but he's got to keep on the circuit. Puts a wheel on the grass, and that is not going to help his chances of moving up the field. So his gap to the leader, Khalifa, is 12.4 seconds. We don't expect him to challenge Khalifa for the win, but can he take a podium position away from Dan the Man and Kyle? Kyle, for now, taking the new championship lead, with Corey down in 15.
Yeah, he's down in 15. He is only 11 seconds behind Waze. He's just pulled into the pit lane. So Corey is actually about to step up into the points paying position, Scott.
Okay, so well, Corey's in 14th, still 4 places back from the top 10, which he needs to be in the points. Of course, top 10 score points in TGB1.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Lose to it.
TGB1.
Same as TGB2.
TGB2 we award down to the top 14 as Machine Fishy now has a chance to take P4 from Jack Hickey, and look at the extra speed he has, the confidence that car has down the start finish straight, and he takes P4 from Jack Hickman.
Yes, he does indeed. So Machine Fishy takes Jack Hickman up into P4, and he's now got about 3 seconds to make up to the back of Kyle, but he's got the fresher rubber and the softer rubber.
11 seconds is the gap. He's not going to close that in 6 laps on Khalifa, but he is just 3 seconds back from Kyle, and you have to suspect he's going to be right on him in around 2 or 3 laps time. Can Kyle hold back? Will Kyle want to fight it as much as he needs to? He knows a P5 is good enough to take the new championship lead here tonight. So let's see what he does. I think it might be a bit too much to hold him back anyway. Fish is going to be so much quicker on the start finish straight.
Yes, he is indeed. Well, I think Fishy can realistically aim for, I'd say, a P2 in this race. There's a yellow flag in sector 2 as Waze has binned it in that middle sector. But I'd say realistically Fishy could be eyeing up P2 in this race. He's got Kyle and he's closing. He's already closed a second on this lap alone. And it's going to be maybe 1.2 by the end of this lap, Dom.
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe we'd get a late safety car there. Of course, that would be fantastic news for Fishy. He'd bunch right up to the front 3. But the bad news for him is it is not.
He's still struggling around with his damaged front wing. He's got Paul all over the back of him, who pitted under that virtual safety car right at the beginning. Has now caught up to the back of him, and surely he's going to have him on this main straight though.
Yeah, Paul McGee on the hard tyres, pitted on the end of lap 1, of course. Found himself in P9, will look to try and get past J-Luke. Can he get it done down into turn 1? You can see his teammate in the background, Corey, pitting yet again, so probably going for new tyres to try and take the fastest lap away from the championship contenders. But Paul McGee for now is up to P8. Good move.
Yeah, meanwhile Matt Tibos is now all over the back of Jack Hickey. This is the battle for P5 and decent top 5 finish in this race for both drivers. Matt Tibos recovering after making that mistake early on in the race, like lap 1 or 2 I think it was, that's forced him back down the field, and now he's recovering and hoping to get a top 5, maybe even a top 4 in this race, as you see Kyle and Dan actually not that far down the road from this lot.
Yeah, I think Matt Tibos will be probably realistically just hoping for a top 5 to take from this night. Matt Tibos, of course, 10 points here would put him on 61, which would just be 20 back from Corey, who was the championship leader going into this race. Got to keep an eye on the fish as well, who's now just 6/10 back from Kyle. Is Matt Tibos close enough this time round to get a move down into turn 1? Probably a little bit too far back, I think.
Yeah, Fishy's too far back going into turn 1 on Kyle, so he's going to have to sit behind for another lap here. So neither of them are going to get the move done, but Fishy is now all over the back of Kyle as we start on lap 14 of this race, Dom.
Yeah, so 3.5 laps left to go for these drivers. Khalifa, gotta say, credit to him. He's controlled this race, looking very good for his first win of the season. He'll be the 4th different race winner from the first 6 races. Khalifa really impressing in at Alfa Romeo, 5.8 seconds clear of down the man. Kyle a further 3 seconds back, and you can see just how close Machine Fishy is to the back of him.
Yes, you really can. Machine Fishy definitely all over the back of Kyle now. This is for the final podium spot in this race. After starting at the back, Machine Fishy, for picking up that disqualification in qualifying, he now looks like he's going to get himself a podium. Phil Bardwell's just picked himself up the time penalty. That's not a surprise after his antics of Canada a few years ago, Dom, is it?
No, Phil Bardwell is known for picking up time penalties from corner cutting. Needs to just keep it in the track limits. Don't push it too much, but Phil Bardwell probably going to afford that penalty. He is 8 seconds clear of Paul behind, who is on the hard tyres, and this is a good chance now for Fishy to take the position from Kyle.
Yes, it is. He's down side by side down the main straight, crossing the line. 3 laps to go, and Fishy gets himself onto the podium. I think that's job done. I don't see Kyle coming back at him now. Now he's going to try and bridge that gap of about 2.5 seconds. Well, just over 2 seconds back to Dan the man. So I think he might catch Dan on this final lap, Dom.
Yeah, you can see the Ferrari driver just in front of him. He can see the gap. He can see that it is within reach. 2 seconds is the difference. But can he close that in 2.5 laps?
Yeah, meanwhile, Tibos still hasn't got back past Jack Hickey yet. Jack Hickey putting up a very stout defence against the Renault driver here.
Matt Tibos, a former champion, won a few seasons back, looking to take back his crown this season. He's got a very competitive field to beat if he can, but he's going to need every single point. Every point will help come the end of the season. Yellow flag in the second sector, that is just for Jack Craig. To spare for him, he was in the points, but he's dropped down to 10th, remains in the points, but has lost the place to J. Luke.
Yes, he has. The time is running out for Matt Tibos. He's only realistically got 2 more opportunities down the main straight to get past Jack Hickey. Maybe unless he tries something somewhere else. Meanwhile, speaking about penalties, I just want to mention Jack has... I don't know what I was going to say now. Carry on.
Well, thank you for all that knowledge there, Owen. Thank you, Ted. Can Matt Tibos get close enough this time to get into turn 1? Surely he's close enough, Owen.
Yes, he is. He's going to try and squeeze it down the inside at turn 1. They're going to be side by side, and Jack Hickey again putting up a stout defence. Is he going to try and look to the outside through turn 3? No, he just doesn't quite have the grip, and he's not going to have the opportunity into turn 4. So he's realistically only got 1 more shout of this, I'd say, for Matt Tibos. Meanwhile, Machine Fishy is not making the progress that I'd expect him to make on the back of Dan. He only gained about half a second that lap, which is not good enough. Meanwhile, Chiapelli has picked up a penalty for himself in this race.
Yeah, I think Dan's looking pretty safe for second then. Fishy not quite bringing in the time we thought he would. In fact, Kyle's only a second off him still. So it looks like Fishy's settled for P3. Probably a bit too much he expected from those soft tyres. Matt Tibos has been on these mediums for a while. A little longer than Jack Hickey. Can he snatch the extra 2 points, which could go a long way in this championship hunt?
It could indeed. So this is probably his best opportunity coming onto the main straight for the final time in this race. The leader, Khalifa, heading down towards turn 1 now. I think he's pretty much got this race in the bag. As we see Matt Tibos on the overtake. He's very close to the back of Jack Hickey. Jack Hickey's putting up a stout defence. He's gone all the way to the inside. and he's forcing Matt to the outside, but I think Matt will have the job done this time round. Does he do it? Yes, he does. He finally gets past and gets himself into the top 5, Tom.
Fantastic result from Matt Tibbos. He waited his time and he's taken the place. He is into P5. He's got Jack Hickman. 2 extra points towards the championship. Can Machine Fishy now do something about Dan the Man ahead? He's finally got to within 1 second, just about, I think. Maybe just outside. But I think the chance to overtake has surely gone. You can see just how close Dan is now, but this being the final lap is looking pretty safe for Dan in P2, I think.
Yes, I would say so indeed. I don't think Fishy has just made up enough ground, and he realistically has one chance to do it, and he's just not close enough at that one chance on the final lap. So we're just going to watch Khalifa come round the final few corners. Mr. Chiapelli picking up another penalty. There's going to be no penalties decided in this race today, as Khalifa has got a 6-second lead over the guy behind. Khalifa wins the Spanish Grand Prix in TGP1. Dan the Man is going to come home in second. Fishy gaining and gaining in that last sector, but he's just going to run out of time to get P2. And
he did get P2. Dan had a time penalty and Fishy's stolen it, and Carl takes third.
Oh, okay, so penalties deciding podiums here as well today. Not quite a victory being decided like it was in TGP2 last week, thanks to Jack picking up a 3-second penalty along with it.
J. Luke and Jack Craig fighting for 9th and 10th. Jack Craig has caught back up to J. Luke despite his spin, a few laps to go. Look how much more confident he is on those soft tyres. J. Luke is beyond their miniature well, and we think he's got a bit of damage too, but he is going to hold on to take P9. As long as he hasn't got a time penalty, which we saw Dan the Man have, and Matt Tibbles, in fact, he dropped the place of Jack Hickey. Jack Craig does finish P10 behind J. Luke, and Hoffner will take 11th, just missing out on the points positions.
Yeah, and that just leaves a couple more guys. Well, I think that's pretty much everyone done now. That is everyone done. So that is your final results in this race. So penalties deciding the podiums like they did in TGP2 last week, but as I was saying in qualifying, it's very easy to pick up a penalty on this circuit, and it's clearly cost Dan a podium today.
It was a Williams 1-2 in the Netherlands, and it's a Alfa Romeo 1-2 in the Spanish Grand Prix. It might be the 2 slowest teams in Formula 1 at the moment, but they are the 2 quickest tonight in TGP1. Fishy snatching P2 at the end from the back of the grid. We said to keep an eye on him. For him, it was absolute delight, and that puts him right back into the championship hunt. Kyle on P3 will be the new championship leader. What a day it's been for him today.
Yeah, what a day it has been for him. So, full rundown of the results here in Spain. Khalifa picks up the victory from Machine Fishy in second. It's an Alfa Romeo 1-2 with Khalifa starting from pole and dominating the race, and Fishy coming back from the back of the grid and picking up P2. We've got Kyle in third in the Williams. Dan the Man missing out on the podium thanks to penalties and comes home in P4. Jack Hickey will come home in P5 thanks to Matt Tibbos's penalty, so he'll take P5. Then it's Phil Bardwell in 6th, Paul McGee in 8th, and then we have J. Luke in 9th, Jack Craig 10th, and Le Hoffner missing out on the points. Hayden in 12th, Chiapelli in 13th, and Corey in 14th.
Wow, what a night it was then. 2 more new race winners for this season. It was Jamie and Khalifa who took the wins tonight. And next week, if you thought this was crazy enough, next week we've got Monaco and Azerbaijan.
Yes, we have. And we'll see that tomorrow night in TGP2, so make sure you tune in for that. But thank you for watching these 2 races in TGP1 today. I have been Owen Quemby, that has been Dom Smith. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time out in Monaco and Baku. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.